Paper Mario the Origami King is the first Paper Mario game I've played, so I wasn't really too sure what to expect, but boy, was I pleased with what I saw.
I think one of the reasons why this game is so good is because of the creative boss battles that Nintendo has put into the game. Like, come on, colourless pencils, rubber bands, a roll of sellotape. Who would have thought that office supply has made incredible boss battles?
Who are you?
Oh hey, I'm Nitro AC, you know, the Minecraft YouTuber.
But this isn't a Minecraft video, it's one on Paper Mario.
Yeah, but I do know a bit about this game, too, and I'll be happy to help you on this video.
Well, I suppose I can't say no to that.
Good. Now, before we start, we should say that the Glooper Blooper, Paper Mache, Buzzy Beetle, Paper Squadron, or the Paper Mache Sand Pokey fight will not count.
That's right, so the only bosses that we will include are the Legion of Stationery, the Vellumentals, the Sumo-Bros boss fight, and the Handaconda fight.
So, if you're happy with that, let's begin. The Earth Vellumental is the first boss that you fight in the game, and it acts as a tutorial boss. Because of this, it is the easiest, most boring, and least memorable boss fight in the game. The Earth Vellumental's attacks are very basic, and there is just not that much to talk about. Even its special move isn't too good. So you need to use your hammer to hit its arms, legs, and tail. And after that, the Vellumental will whip over, and you can use the thousand folded arms to hit its shell over and over again. It's a pretty good starter boss, but nothing to write home over.
This is probably the hardest boss in the game, and the most annoying to defeat. At the very start of the battle, the Ice Vellumental will freeze itself, thus rendering all attacks that Mario can do, whether it's using the boot or the hammer, useless since the ice is too thick and it's too slippery. Before you can even think about defeating this boss, you must melt the ice around the Ice Vellumental. And, obviously, you use the Fire Vellumental to do that. Then only after you've melted the ice shield, you can then start attacking him. Although soon, in the later half of the stage, he will create an ice maze, where he will spin the course around, which forces Mario to remember a path so that he can use the 1,000 folded arms to attack him. When he creates an ice maze, you have to remember the path that was initially created, so it forces you to have a good short-term memory, which, you know, I don't. So in order to pull this off, you either need to get a good short-term memory, or you can just do what I do and just take a snapshot before the maze is spun around. This is a very tough boss to defeat, and I can see why Nintendo put this boss as the last boss that you fight out of the Vellumentals. It is so hard, and honestly, not very good. It's just a chore to defeat. This is probably the best looking boss in the entire game, but sadly, it may look good, but the actual boss fight isn't so good. I mean, it isn't annoying like the Ice Vellumental, but still. At the start of the battle, it will shed its wings, which actually drains some of its health. But the burning feathers will remain on the battle arena, and you will take some damage if you run into them. Thankfully, you can extinguish the burning feathers by using the Water Vellumental. Once you've extinguished the Fire Vellumental, you'd think to use your 1,000 folded arms since he's down to pound up him, right? Wrong. If you use your 1,000 folded arms and you don't actually defeat him, he'll just get angry, and he will set himself back on fire and he will rekindle himself, which will heal the boss back to full health, which will undo all the hard work you've done. So it turns out that you actually need to time the 1,000 folded arms attack, and you only use it if you know that if you use your 1,000 folded arms, you're actually going to finish the boss off. Because if you don't finish him off and he still has some health remaining after the 1,000 folded arms attacks, he'll just rekindle himself back to full health. Even if he's almost dead, use your 1,000 folded arms attacks wrong, back to full health it goes. For this reason, it makes the boss very hard, very annoying, and quite frankly, very time consuming. It's almost as if it's just an absolute chore to defeat this boss. While the Fire Vellumental does indeed look really awesome because it's off a Phoenix and I really like Phoenixes, it's not a very good boss, Nintendo. But better than the Ice Vellumental, so I'll give you that, but not the best Vellumental out there.
And this is the first Legion of Stationery boss in this list. For me and the Scary Pet, the rubber bands are the worst stationary fight in this list. However, I do like how it acts like a theatre star. I mean, Just listen to it sing in the beginning of the fight. Unfortunately, the actual fight isn't too good. What you have to do is pull the rubber bands from the boss by either jumping or by using your hammer. But here's the thing, if you use regular attacks, the boss will summon the bands back to it, thus, that will heal the boss and undo the work that you've done. A bit like the Fire Vellumental, but this time a bit more fairer since this fight is higher on the list than the Fire Vellumental. So, you need to use the 1000 folded arms to really do some damage to this boss. The boss will also fling some rubber bands onto the stage, which will make it harder for Mario to set a path to attack the boss. In the final attack, you have to use the 1000 folded arms to basically fling the rubber band off the stage, but it will move around, making it really difficult for you to grab onto it. And if you don't grab onto the boss in time, it will attack you. The boss is pretty difficult, and I don't really like it, it's just a bit annoying. The Water Vellumental is the best Vellumental boss in the whole game. While we do think that the Fire Vellumental is the best looking Vellumental boss, the Water Vellumental definitely plays a lot fairer and is more straightforward to defeat. You need to avoid his water well that can wash away the panels you need to attack him, and then you need to use the boots to attack him and bring him down so that you can use your hammer, or the Earth Vellumental power so that you can attack the Water Vellumental using the 1000 folded arms. I do like the gimmick on how the water wells wash away your panels, because it forces you to think harder when you are lining up your attacks. Again, this isn't an amazing boss, but definitely the best boss out of the Vellumentals.
The Sumo-Bros. This is basically just the Thunder Vellumental in a way, but all jokes aside, honestly, the Sumo-Bros is just a very bang average fight. Nothing too crazy will go on in this battle. All that you really need to do is find the Vellumental power panel that's been taken by one of the smaller Sumo-Bros before the fight, then defeat said small Sumo-Bro to gain that panel back. And basically, you just need to find whichever one has the Fire Vellumental, because one Fire Vellumental attack will completely obliterate this boss. That is how overpowered the Fire Vellumental can be. So once you know what you're doing, this is actually a very easy fight. There isn't really that much to say about this boss. Honestly, it's kind of forgettable. Now this is where the bosses start becoming good. Even though the scissors is placed quite high on this list, it does not mean that I don't like it. It's from this moment onwards where I start stating the bosses that I like. The reason why I really like the scissors is because this boss does not play games, and he is out to end Mario. Since, you know, we're fighting a pair of scissors, and Paper Mario is made out of paper, and scissors beat paper. So just that thought in your mind creates an awesome fear factor in this fight. Although at the start of the boss, the scissors will shield his blade using a cover so that you can't cut Mario, thus giving Mario a slight advantage. But if you break the cover, or if you wait long enough in the fight, and the scissors will eventually remove the cover which shows his shiny blades, this is where the fight really gets serious. Since scissors obviously beats paper, there is no way that Mario can guard against his attacks. So Mario will have to jump over his blades in order to prevent getting cut, or else the scissors will cut you, the screen will go bright red, and it will do 999 damage, which is an instant game over. Also, when the cover is removed, do not under any circumstances use the boot to jump on the scissors, or else, again, it will cut you, the screen will go red, and it will do 999 damage, which again is an instant game over. So you have to use the hammer or the 1000-fold arms to attack the scissors. I also love how the scissors special move is called the final cut, since it will literally be a final cut if the scissors succeeds and cuts Mario in half. Also, I love the way how the scissors, before it does the final cut, basically tells Mario to say his final words before he cuts Mario. It is awesome. This is the first Legion of Stationery that feels like a legitimate threat to Mario, since this scissors is out for blood. I love it, and you literally feel like a champion once you finally have defeated this boss. So, who knows, maybe paper does beat scissors after all. All jokes aside, this boss is so epic, and it only gets better from here.
Next is the Handaconda, also known as the Shadow Hand. This was a very interesting boss, honestly. At the start, the boss has captured Olivia, so you are unable to use the Vellumental powers or the 1,000 folded arms. The only way to save Olivia is to use the hammer. If you jump on him, he'll catch you and slam you to the ground, so you must use the hammer. Once you've saved Olivia, this will be where the boss battle gets good. The magic circles turn you into a game of rock, paper, scissors. So basically, you can use the 1,000 folded arms to play rock, paper, scissors with this boss. If you win, then you can pound the boss using the 1,000 folded arms, and if you lose, then the hand will get bigger and he'll attack you. This is a very interesting boss, and it is so cool to see a very creative way of playing rock, paper, scissors in a video game. Wow, when I first saw the coloured pencils as a boss in this game, I knew that this game was going to be strange, but in a good way. I love how the coloured pencils act as an art critique as well. That was a nice touch. The first phase of this fight is going to be simple, just avoided pencils, which act as missiles and create a path that leads behind them. And use your hammer or the 1,000 folded arms to close his lid. When his missiles will explode inside of him, creating a lot of damage. But the last phase is where this battle gets good. We'll use an attack called the Rainbow Roll, and you cannot close the lid when he is using the Rainbow Roll. When he attacks you now, it is vital that you block his attacks or else he will do a ton of damage to you. I love the way that you defeat him as well. You literally grab his pencils and just continuously hit him with it. I really like those types of bosses, where you get to use their own weapons against them. This is a really cool boss.
Next we have the Stapler, the one that is making everything into origami. And my word, what a stressful fight this one is. In this boss, it is vital that you block his attacks. Otherwise it will be game over, since this boss shows no mercy whatsoever, a bit like the scissors. You have to wait for him to waste all of his staplers, either by jumping on him, which will waste 4 staples, or by using your hammer, which will waste only 1 staple. After the stapler has run out of staples, it will have to reload, which is the perfect opportunity to use the 1,000 folded arms to pound him. His attacks really do some damage though, because if you don't use up his staplers, he will do a bite barrage, where he'll continuously bite down on you, and the stapler will do this for a while, so make sure you block this attack. Straight after he's done the bite barrage, he will get up and use the staple gun move to shoot the remaining staples at you, which also does a lot of damage. So if you don't use up his staples by jumping or hammering him, then you really will feel the effect of these 2 special moves. The music is also really cool, since it has a heavy metal guitar type theme to accompany this boss. I really like this boss because, especially when he uses the bite barrage and staple gun move, you can really feel the tension of this fight. When you've finally defeated him, you are exhausted. What a fight, and a really good fight to end the Legion of Stationery before you fight King Ollie himself. After a long game, we finally get to fight the Origami King himself, King Ollie, and he was an excellent final boss. This was quite a long fight, and the boss was done in 3 stages. In the first phase, you'll turn into one of the 4 previously fought Vellumentals, and you have to choose the appropriate Vellumental to counter King Ollie's attack. So if he turns into the Earth Vellumental, you have to use the Ice Vellumental to counter it. If he uses the Ice Vellumental, you have to use the Fire to counter it. If you're using the Fire Vellumental, you have to use the Water to counter it. And if he's using the Water Vellumental, you have to use the Earth Vellumental to counter the attack. In the second phase, you have to fight with a giant Origami Bowser against a giant Origami King Ollie. And you have to get behind Bowser and use the 1,000 folded arms attack to move Bowser to push King Ollie off of the stage. This phase is quite tiring, to be fair, since you have to use your 1000 folded arms quite a lot, which involves a lot of arm movement, so it can get really tiring. In the third and final stage, you have to unscramble the battle arena to create a picture of the 4 Vellumental icons in order to transform Olivia into a massive origami hammer to push King Ollie into the poisonous abyss below. While King Ollie will strike attacks against you, so you have to press A in order to dodge his attacks. This is a really good and satisfying boss to end an excellent game. It is a bit on the easy side, I will accept that, but the atmosphere, the intensity is still there. A very good final boss, but not quite the best boss in the game.
Man, this boss was cool. The idea, the atmosphere and the music was on this boss was pinpoint perfect. I also love the personality of the tape as well. It had like a New York accent or something. It was so great. So, this boss is in 2 stages. The first stage is when you have to break the shell, being the dispenser. And once you've broken the shell, you have to fight the tape itself. And it's sellotape, the stage preventing you from sliding the panel so you can only turn it. You can burn off the tape by using the fire Vellumental, or you can use the 1000 folded arms to basically rip the tape off the roll. It's your choice. But whatever you do not jump on it, or the stickiness of the tape will catch you and slam you on the ground, causing you to take damage. This is a very well done boss battle, and it is so fun to fight, but there is one boss that is slightly better than this one.
Yep, my favourite boss in Paper Mario the Origami King is the Hole Puncher. Okay, first of all, just listen to the music. It's amazing, isn't it? It makes you want to dance. The Hole Puncher's personality is that of a music critique, and it forces everybody to dance what he is dancing to. Well, I think that this Hole Puncher has a very good taste of music, since the music is amazing. In this fight, you need to use the hammer to try to break the back of the Hole Puncher. When the Hole Puncher attacks, it will Hole Punch Mario, and not only will that drain your health, but it will also drain your maximum health as well, so you can't heal yourself as high or as efficiently as normal. To gain the health back to normal, you need to collect the piece that was Hole Punch in the battle arena. For those 2 reasons are basically the reasons why the Hole Puncher is the best boss in the game. It has such an awesome theme and an awesome and very unique attack. This is by far the best boss in Paper Mario the Origami King. But I can't get over the music. It is so good. I can listen to this theme all day.
And that's it.
Pretty much.
Wow, that was quite a list. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the Scary Pair, and also to me, Nitro AC. On my channel, I do Minecraft videos and also sometimes stream. Be sure to check out my channel.
Well said. Thank you all for watching, and I guess I'll see you all next week.
Bye.